Welcome to Salient Systems Job Aid videos. In this video, we will be demonstrating the steps needed to properly install a SQL database for use with the Complete View VMS. This installation is specific to SQL Express 2017, but the settings required apply to all supported SQL versions. Before you begin the SQL installation process, make sure that you are logged in as an administrator. Installing SQL is simple, but there are a few steps that are required for use with Complete View. These include enabling mixed mode authentication, setting the SA or superadmin password, enabling the automatic startup of the SQL Server browser service, and following the install, enabling TCP/IP and named pipes in SQL settings. So let's get started. First, go to Microsoft's website and do a search for the SQL Express 2017 download. From the search results, select the appropriate link that allows you to download the SQL Server Installer. On the download page, make sure the correct language version is selected for your install program, and then select Download. When the download finishes, open your default download folder and run the SQL 2017 installer. On the installation type screen, choose the Download Media option. This will download all the necessary files to your server, and, should the need arise, you can easily reinstall SQL Server, run a repair to fix any future issues, or add optional components to your installation. After selecting Download Media, you will need to choose a download package. Select the Express Core option. Use the default download location or change at your discretion, and then select Download. Once the download completes, select the Open Folder option. In the Download folder, run the SQL Express installer and choose or create a folder where you will extract the installation files. Then select OK. The file extraction should take a few moments, and when it finishes, it should launch the SQL Server Installation Center. If this does not happen, navigate to the directory that contains your extracted setup files and run setup.exe. Once the Installation Center screen is visible, select the New SQL Server Standalone Installation option from the list on the right. This will initiate the setup process. A global rules check will run, and it should take you directly to the Microsoft Update screen. The global rules check ensures that your account has sufficient privileges to install, and that your system has the necessary prerequisites for SQL Express 2017. Should any of the global rules fail, you will receive a notification and you must correct those issues before proceeding. Using Microsoft Update is optional and should be enabled or left disabled at your discretion. In this install, I will not enable the auto update. Select Next to continue. The install rules will check your system to identify any potential problems. Receiving a warning on the Windows firewall is normal. The warning indicates only that the firewall is running and will give you a link to Microsoft documentation should you need to enable remote access to the database through the firewall. This is not a requirement for Complete View. Select Next to continue. On the next screen, you must accept Microsoft's software license terms. Place a check in the box and then select Next to continue. On the feature selection options, ensure that the Database Engine Services, SQL Server Replication, and SQL Client Connectivity SDK are selected. Leave the instance root directory on the default setting and select Next to continue. On the instance configuration, the default named instance will be SQL Express, and the instance ID should be the same. Leave these values as they are and select Next to continue. The next step is the server configuration. In this section, ensure that both the SQL Server database engine and the SQL Server browser are both set to an automatic startup type. The database permission regarding grant perform volume maintenance task privilege to the engine service is off by default, but may be enabled at your discretion. This feature has no direct bearing on the operation of Complete View. Select Next to continue. On the database engine configuration, you will need to change your authentication mode to mixed mode. This will allow the use of Windows and SQL credentials to log into the database. Next, you will need to enter a password for the server administrator or SA account. This password must follow the password rules set by Microsoft listed on the left side of the screen. Make sure that you remember this password. When you select Next, the installation will begin. When the install completes, you should see a list of the features that were installed, along with a status indicating that the install succeeded. You may now close the SQL Express installation window. SQL Express 2017 is now fully installed, but there is a specific configuration setting that needs to be changed. In your Windows Start menu, locate the Microsoft SQL Server 2017 entry, and from there, open the SQL Server Configuration Manager. In the SQL Server Configuration Manager, there is a list of entries on the left. From those options, select the SQL Server Network Configuration, and under that, choose Protocols for SQL Express. In the Protocols for SQL Express settings that appear on the right, there are two necessary changes. Named pipes and TCP/IP must be set to enabled. Right-click on each of these protocol names and select Enable. On each protocol, you will receive a notification that the settings will not take effect until the SQL services have been restarted. Select OK on the warnings. You may now close the SQL Server Configuration Manager. Next, in order to activate the configuration changes, you will need to stop and start the SQL Server services. From your Windows Start menu, search for services.msc and open it. Alternatively, you may open a command prompt and type in services.msc and hit Enter. In the list of Windows services, locate SQL Server and SQL Server Browser. Select each service, right-click, and choose Stop. When both services have stopped, right-click them again and select Start. SQL Express 2017 has now been fully installed and configured for a connection to the Complete View Management Server. Before we go, Salient Systems also recommends downloading and installing the SQL Server Management Studio, or SSMS, from Microsoft. SSMS provides tools to configure, monitor, and administer instances of SQL Server and databases, and is a must-have for any SQL database troubleshooting. If you found this video helpful, be sure to follow Salient Systems for more job aid and tech tip videos. If you have a suggestion for a future job aid video, let us know by sending an email to training@salientsys.com. From everyone at Salient Training, thanks for watching.